I'll give you my decision tomorrow. How does this work for my calendar, Mr. Doe?
9 a.m., Judge. I'm Nina, and this is Beth. We're HR consultants. We specialize in corporations that are experiencing special challenges like yours.
Is this because I called Jonathan a fag last week?
It's not because of that. Yeah. This isn't my script.
Oh, I made some rewrites.
She walks out of a jail. I can't agree to that.
Now, going back to the showbiz aspect, AFM's coming up in November. I think I read somewhere you're involved with AFM, or I'm sure you go, right?
There is this company, Entertainment and Sports Today, and they've asked me, several years in a row to write for Sundance. I go to Sundance or to the AFM, and it's very cool, but I've seen it go through its changes too. So I will be going, and then, I'll meet filmmakers, I'll review their movie. I reviewed a movie my old acting teacher here, Michelle Danner, had.
I know Michelle Danner. She was a guest on our show.
She was? Oh, cool. Yes, she did do the Italians. And before that, it was the Miranda, I think, with
Yes.
Abigail Breslin and Donald Sutherland and Andy Garcia and John Mailer, Michael Mailer's son. And I got to hang with them all at Santa Barbara International Film Festival because I was reviewing the movies and I wrote an article and it's on my site about Michelle's film. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Thor Marino did a film about Alzheimer's and it showed at AFM, and Lindsay Wagner from The Bionic Woman was in it, and it was about her husband who had Alzheimer's, and then I wrote an article about that. And I'll also do like red carpets and interview. I was blessed to interview John Voight when he was on Ray Donovan, and Jennifer Lopez when the Critics' Choice Awards or Critics Circle was honoring her for Hustlers. And she's a fantastic actor. And so, I get out and about. I went to an event, you probably saw it on my Instagram, on Thursday night. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to go and enjoy myself. And then they asked me to do an interview, and now it's all over the internet, So that's the other thing. Just say yes, just go, just show up, even if you're going to be late. Woody Allen said 90% of success is just showing up. So just show up. But I'm always ready to have a good time too. So
there's a 50 chance I may be out there for AFM this year. I'm trying to move some things around, but I'd like to come out there for maybe like 3 or 4 days. So we'll see.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's going to be at the Fairmont Hotel. Yeah, AFM used to be literally like maybe 10, 15 blocks from my apartment on the beach at the Lowe's Hotel. And it was just such a fun event. Have you ever been to it, or is this the first time?
It would be my first time. Actually, I lived out there back in 2008. So I used to live in Thousand Oaks, and I used to take the 101, the 405, and Il Fornaio in Beverly Hills.
That's nice. I like Il Fornaio.
I still have my little pin here. That's the Beverly Hills pin that was given me from Jimmy Del Shad, who was the mayor at the time.
How cool. And how did that happen for you?
You know what? I just went out to visit a friend, and I wound up staying for longer than I thought. And I remember the first day in Beverly Hills, I went to Cafe Roma because I heard so much about it. And the guy there, Giovanni, I speak Italian, right? My parents are from Italy, so I speak Italian. So we were talking Italian, and we're both Calabrese, which is the south of Italy. And so he hired me, and then I walked over to Il Fornaio, and I spoke to the woman there, and then we started talking Italian. She hired me. So I had 2 jobs in one day. So I chose Il Fornaio, but then in retrospect, and no offense to Il Fornaio, because it was a great place, but I probably should have chosen Cafe Roma because it was a really hot spot back then with a lot of celebrities.
Yeah, and I know when I would go by, the disco music was always blaring. And for some reason, they just recently closed it, which surprised me. It was in this arcade on, what was it, Cannon, and where Il Pastel is, and all the other great Italian restaurants. LA is great for food, for sure.
Via Loro. It's all kind of coming back to me, but it feels like yesterday.
Well, it sounds like you want to be here. So if you come out for AFM, let me know.
Yep.
And so it should be a lot of fun. And it's just, I think it's coming up. It's more or less around the corner.
I think it starts maybe the 11th to the 16th or something around there. Maybe 11th
of October or November. Okay. Yeah, it is coming fast, but it's great. And it is changing, and TV seems to be, rising up. But like you say, I mean, I love going to the movie theaters, and I hope that we'll, still have that experience. And, you just have to keep doing what you love.
I think it's going
So,
to. I think the future, if I had to predict, I would say the future of movies is going to be a lot more independent, a lot more independent players, and I think it's going to be where it's just direct, like you and I, which we already can. We're already doing it anyway, but pretty much we could be self-distributing with the click of a button. I think
yeah.
we're going to see a lot of the middlemen are going to be cut out of it.
I agree 100%. I mean, people didn't always accept all the different streamers, but now they are. And YouTube last week, you probably read it, Vince, just made a deal. They're trying to work with NBC Universal. So that's the other thing I do. I get Deadline Hollywood every day. Sharon Waxman, The Wrap. I like to see what's going on in the industry and how they're accepting AI and what I need to maybe start exploring. So,
I mean, I'm not going to take too much more of your time out, Jacqueline, because you've been very sweet to give us your
no,
time.
whatever you
But
need. My
give us some
pleasure.
advice now for maybe, how about give us some advice for some of the ladies in the business, being a strong woman, you're very, very intelligent, you're very, you're on the ball with what's hot. How about some advice for some of the ladies out there, their feet wet as an actress or maybe as a writer, or they want to be a filmmaker? What advice might you have for them?
I know you'll laugh, but honestly, just don't sleep with someone and think you're going to get a job. That's like as real and as basic and as honest as I can say it. Get an agent, get a manager. Sometimes I know that's really hard to do, but ask yourself, what do you have inside of you that's of value? Fortunately, like I had my nursing, and then I honed my skills. I studied with Stella Adler in New York when she was alive. If you're out in LA, TV is really, there's theater here, but where are you in the country? Are you in Chicago? Can you get on Chicago Med? Are you in LA? Should I be taking a camera class? When I first came out to LA, Vince, my manager said I should take an improv class. So I went to the Groundlings and I studied there. I did a commercial technique class. I did camera work with Margie Haber. I did acting classes with Ivana Chubbuck, who's in LA. Find out, because then you'll be with other actors and they'll be working on projects, and submit yourself on Actors Access, casting networks. And I started out in New York. I was fortunate. I got work on the soap opera, but my first couple jobs, were I was an extra for Woody Allen, and then I got featured on radio. I was an extra as a nurse and on Hannah and her sisters, and then I thought I was going to get an upgrade, but then that did not happen because they cut the scene. But then Radio Days, I was featured as a roller skater, and then from there I start building, and, I started getting speaking parts like in The Paper, Ron Howard's film. So, see how you can interface with other people that are doing films. Try to get a job, as an actor on AFI film, or see who you know in the industry that might be able to open a door for you. But just remember that, you want to figure out what you have to offer. And have the skills. I mean, I'm so grateful to my mom every day, that I always felt very independent. And set yourself up so that at the end of the day, you can rely on you, because that's an attractive quality, when you don't have to, like what you have to give versus what you're taking, and I wish I had an easier answer, like go out and buy a black skirt, but I don't think that's the answer,
Well, I think in summary, I think you're basically, from what I'm hearing, is work hard, be persistent,
Yes. Yes.
put the
Don't
work
give
in.
up.
Right. Put the work in. That goes for anybody. Put the work in, because you can't start at the top. And avoid the sleazy guys. I'm saying it as a guy. Avoid the sleazy guys. They're not going to get
I
you.
know. Yes. No, no, it's true. If it seems too good to be true, honestly, most of the time it's not a good thing. So, just be safe and, take good care of yourself, and you don't have to drink or to act like you're cool. Just be who you are, And yeah, because I worked hard. I mean, I would go to acting school 9 to 1 and then work as a nurse 4 to 12. So it wasn't like my father, wasn't thrilled that I wanted to be an actress, but I was true to myself. So that's the other piece of advice, that is just be true to yourself. And fortunately, my mom, being, creative, was like, yeah, like, you go for it. But being persistent and building up your skills and going for what you really dream for, it can happen. Maybe not the way you think it's going to happen. And be grateful. I remind myself every day for what I have, because it's just as easy to think a negative thought as it is a positive thought. So just put that positive thought in your head. Today's going to be a great day. My feet are touching the floor,
When if you put yourself in that very calm, grateful mindset, and if you can like really keep being like that, good things will happen to you. I can tell you from my own experience. The more stressed you are, the more aggravated you are, the more you dwell on things, you will just keep digging yourself into a bigger hole, in my opinion. So gratefulness is a big key to it. You have to be very grateful, especially when you're surrounded by all these different people that have so many problems. Be grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't get swept up in it. The other thing, a really nice thing happened to me. I was taking acting class with Tony Bianco, and his wife wrote this beautiful spiritual book. So when my agent, Barbara Andreatis, passed away, she gave me the book. But what was cool about the book, every day there's a prayer in it. And then on the side of it, there's like a saying from the Bible. So I read that every day. That's how I start my day, before I get busy, and I think that really grounds me and makes me aware of, like, there is something beyond us. There's something more to, what you really want every single day. And if you listen to your inner voice and your intuition, you'll figure it out. But you have to take good care of yourself, and you have to set the time aside to hear. Go to nature, take that 5-minute break. Even when I was a nurse, I used to, on my lunch hour, as long as the patient was stable, I'd get out and just take a break, and I would come back and feel refreshed. You know how to take care of yourself. That's what I would say.
Amen. Love yourself and love others.
Yes,
Jacqueline,
yes.
you have been so sweet, so kind.
Oh my
You're very
goodness.
inspirational. I mean that. You're a great woman, and I
Oh,
think a lot
thank
of
you.
people are really going to enjoy this episode. I know I did.
Oh,
But
thank
let's
you.
let them. We're going to have in the description box. We'll have all your links. So make sure that you check them out, guys. Make sure you're following her on all the social media. Again, we'll have links provided. But you have your website, right, Jacqueline? One more time. What's your website?
Yeah, it's JacquelineMurphy.net. And if you follow me on Instagram, it's JacquelineMurphy13. And put in the message, you saw me on Vince's show, Inside Hollywood, or on Facebook. I think it's Jacqueline Murphy 77, but Vince has my links. But I'd love to hear from any of the people that are watching Vince's show. And thank you so much for having me on today. You're a delight to talk to, and I enjoy your style. And I also love your work ethic and the fact that you're a great dad and family person. And I think that's really important,
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's a vocation that I never would have thought I would. I always, the way we grew up, you always admire your folks, and then when you become that person, like, oh, this is pretty interesting. I do love my role as a family man. That comes first, but this is also a lot of fun. So I'm glad that we have time to pursue at least a little bit in a small way our daydreams.
Sure. Well, you have to keep it alive, keep your dreams alive, because that is part of who you are.
Well, listen, I loved having you. I welcome you back anytime you'd like. Please keep us informed of any great projects that are coming out. Let us know about. I'm sure going to have plenty more awards, so make sure you let us know and tag us on the social media. And guys, check out our Instagram. I love all the Emmy shots. So please, you got a bunch of Emmy
yeah.
pictures.
I'm a member of the Television Academy for like 13 years, and I was asked to be a moderator for the performance peer group. So there are 31 peer groups in the Academy: cinematography, directing, writing, on and on. And I'm running the group for the performers. So, and we talk about the things we talked about on the show today, like networking, get your IMDb credits, like how to do certain things, or sharing what's going on, like so and so needs an actor for this part. So groups are really good. And I'm also a member of Film Independent. And Vince mentioned he's going to AFM. So I get out and about, I'm not knitting, but yeah. So, but just keep on, and I go out and I have fun. I don't take, I'm serious about my work, but I don't take it that seriously when I go out. I just, because when you can't, because people will sense that. And also I have a film coming out that I just shot a couple weeks ago called Reckless. And it was written by Brian Andrew James. He's the director, writer, and it's an interesting twist. It's like Fatal Attraction, but instead of Glenn Close and Michael Douglas, it's Brian and Max Ehrlich, who was Demi Lovato's boyfriend, but it's a gay relationship. And the Brian's character acts inappropriately. He's a soap opera star who's just abusing, and hooking up with people on the soap. And I'm the TV executive that has to fire him. And I didn't know what to expect when I got to set, but it was so cool. He was just such an amazing director. Wanted your eye line specifically someplace, and the lighting was extreme, like with shadows and stuff. And when I saw the daily for it, it reminded me of Faye Dunaway in Network. And I was like, my God, I love what this guy is doing. So, like, for your audience, and leave yourself open, to work on these different projects. And don't, even if you never know how creative someone can really be. So I'm excited. It's going to be premiering here in LA, I think November 21st. He's going to go all out with social media, and he wants to sell it. And it'll be right now, like you said, Vince, it's going to be on his movie channel, recklessthemovie.net. But he wants to get one of the big streamers like I do for Sorceress, like Amazon or Netflix or Apple, so, but you have to just keep on putting your stuff out there. Like, did you think, I'll leave everybody with this. I'm watching Dancing with the Stars, and one of the girls, she is on a reality TV show, and she did a TikTok dance and in her kitchen, and that got her on Dancing with the Stars. And so that's like my whole point. I don't know if the Admired or Sorceress or doing that interview last week or Reckless or what it's going to be, but I am having so much fun. And just put yourself out there and try it, So I wish everybody luck. And I thank you, Vince. It's been great to be on your show. And I'll look forward to watching it for all the different episodes that you put out.
And thank you very much. And likewise, it's been an absolute pleasure. Again, everyone, make sure we are supporting. One last thing, I say this in every episode, and I don't want to forget. Make sure when you watch these movies, you have to leave a review. It's very important as far as being a creator, as an actress, or a filmmaker. Please leave reviews. IMDb, Amazon, wherever you're watching. Very important to leave those reviews.
Okay, and one other thing, I'll tell your viewers. On Vince's channel, subscribe to my channel too, Jacqueline Murphy Actress, but subscribe and make comments, because comments also help with the algorithm and getting the word out there. And it also lets that person know you think they're doing a great job. If you don't think they are, don't leave a comment, but it really helps move things along. And also on IMDb, I don't know if you know, Vince, you probably do because you know quite a bit. You can say you come across The Admired or Sorceress or Vince's show, Inside Hollywood, which are you up on IMDb?
I'm on IMDb, but the show isn't, which you reminded me. Maybe I need to put that on the IMDb
Definitely.
as well.
And I have someone who can help you. If you'll reach out to me, I can. But point is, I could rate Vince's show 10 stars if I really like his show. So, when you don't, if you go on and you have a few minutes, just comment or rate it or write that review, because that is so important. Yeah.
And that's the thing. We all help each other out. We're all
That's
climbing
right.
that.
That's right. You
But
might come out here, Vince, and wind up getting a role in a movie while you're here for AFM. Wouldn't that be fantastic? I'll put it out in the universe.
crazy things have always happened to me. Well, I did a couple of short films, so I have one that I'm actually won 2 awards, and it got selected in about 11 film festivals. But we're not talking about me this episode.
That's good. Well, you'll send me the link if you have it. I'd love to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, I take a
Yes.
peek at it. I appreciate it. So again, our wonderful, beautiful, fabulous, and most importantly, powerful guest has been
Oh, thank
Jacqueline
you.
Murphy. I'm so excited to watch more of your work, and thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank you, Vince. It was so much fun. And keep watching Inside Hollywood. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you again soon. Thank you, Jackie.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.